This is why so many women feel behind in life. The invisible deadline. Women live under pressure to race against time. There's this expectation that by a certain age, we should have already found love, gotten married, and started a family, and basically already had our entire life figured out. And if we haven't, society makes us feel like we're failing and like we're behind. Let me take you back to 2021. Britney Spears was just set free, everyone was buying NFTs, and Sex and the City got rebooted. It was a much simpler time back then. Meanwhile, I have just graduated college. I was living with my parents, and I was turning 25. And somehow already, I was terrified of turning 30, which is insane in hindsight, because 25 is basically 22, but with more student debt. But that was the first time I felt it, that weird cultural panic that women get implanted with. Like, the moment we turn 25, we start to feel like we're running out of time. But eventually I realized something. The invisible deadline is ridiculous, and its only purpose was to make women feel bad. And it does, but that's about to change. So let's talk about the perfect timeline. Kids, partner, and starting a family. Women feel an incredible pressure to follow this perfect timeline. Apparently, by your late 20s, you are supposed to have already found the love of your life, gotten married, and started a family. And if you don't hit those milestones on the perfect time, you feel like you're behind. What makes this pressure even worse is that society bullies women that don't follow this perfect timeline. But what we should remember is that life does not unfold in one perfect order for everybody. So in the Belarusian culture, we have a phrase, staraya deva, which basically means old maid. And the phrase carries a lot of shame. It's a social label used to make women feel like if they're not married by a certain age, something must be wrong with them, like they failed somehow. As a result, a lot of women grow up with this fear in the back of their minds. And to avoid becoming that label, women start rushing major life decisions, relationships, marriage, kids, not because they're ready, but because they're afraid of what people may think if they don't. So let's actually break this down. I want to talk about the arguments, pressure tactics, and expectations that make women feel bad. Realization number 1, not every woman wants to get married and to have children. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is still this assumption that all women want to get married and to have children. And if they don't, something must be wrong with them. And if they do want those things, but haven't done them by the time that they're 30, society acts like they failed. Today, women have more freedom than ever, yet their choices are still judged.
We have been ingrained as a society that the woman's role is to reproduce.
Women are not only supposed to have children, they are supposed to want to.
I think children are brilliant. I think they have so much to teach adults. So I appreciate them for that. I just won't be having my own.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it.
So I took a closer look at how women who don't want children are treated. They're often called selfish, narcissistic, and labeled in ways that men rarely are.
I mean, have you ever seen anything more selfish, decadent, and stupid?
Is it the decision itself that bothers people, or is it the fact that women now have the freedom to choose differently? But times are changing and more women are choosing lives that don't follow the traditional script. A growing number of women are choosing not to have children at all. It's not because they can't, it's because they simply do not want to. Studies show among adults under 50 without children, 47% say they are unlikely to ever have children. According to the 2025 study from Michigan State University, the number of people who explicitly do not want children has doubled from 14% in 2002 to 29% in 2023. At the same time, those planning to have kids has dropped from 79% to 59%, and that is completely okay. People are choosing different paths now and living life on their own terms. The idea that every woman should rush into marriage and motherhood by 30 just to fulfill some social deadline is ridiculous. Realization number 2, there is no guarantee that you will meet the love of your life by 30. Women face enormous pressure to get married by a certain age, and once you hit your late 20s, that's when all the questions start. So when are you getting married? Have you found somebody yet? Meanwhile, your dating options look like this. But jokes aside, you cannot control when you will meet the right person. Life is unpredictable, relationships are complicated, and genuine connection cannot be forced to happen on a schedule. So why are we all pressured to hit the same milestones at the same time? Remember this, it is better to get married late than to get married wrong. Now let's talk about the invisible deadline itself. In many many cultures, society thinks that a woman's life is dictated by her biological clock. I am Belarusian, and in my own community, women face enormous pressure to have kids in their early 20s. Late 20s are acceptable, but you better hurry the hell up. I have seen parents pressure their kids to get married young because they were so worried about doing everything on time, and now their kids are stuck with partners they do not like and children they are not ready for. Remember, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, I think that there are mainly two factors where this pressure to get married and have children comes from: the biological clock and cultural factors. Let's talk about the women's biological clock. Women actually have a much wider window to have children than most people are aware of. Now, yes, biologically, women are most fertile in their early 20s, but natural conception rates remain clinically relevant after 35, which means that even in older groups, pregnancy is still happening at meaningful rates. According to the NIH, 50 to 55% of women have gotten pregnant within a year in some populations. I will repeat that for you. Within 1 year of trying, 50 to 55% of women in their early 40s were able to get pregnant. A little explanation. Older you get, the longer it takes for you to get pregnant, but that does not mean you won't get pregnant eventually. Fertility decline is gradual and not a sudden catastrophic drop, so don't let anybody tell you that you have a tiny window in your life to have children. And also, this belief that you should have kids when you're younger, while that is easier and safer, is pretty short-sighted. Do you know what is even more difficult and unsafe? Raising kids in a bad environment to parents who were never ready in the first place. So many factors need to be considered before having children, like parents having time to grow up themselves, build themselves up, save money, have stability, have good mental health, and be mature enough to be a parent. Many parents do not have these things because they were simply too young. So prioritizing a woman's peak fertility window and throwing out all the other important considerations actually hurts the child. Many women who have children later on in life are actually better prepared emotionally and financially than they would have been at 22 or 25. Parenthood is not just about biology. It is about whether you can provide a healthy and stable life for another human being. Yet society often seems more concerned with a woman having children on time than whether those children are having the best possible life. And finally, to the people that defend this timeline by saying it's just a tradition and that's the way life has always been. But history is full of traditions that have harmed women.
In much of the world, child marriage is common and acceptable, and the lives of girls aren't worth very much.
Women used to bind their feet in China until they became permanently deformed because small feet were considered attractive. Women in Europe wore corsets so tight they damaged their organs just to fit in beauty standards.
Effects on the human skeleton are undeniable and incredibly visible even today. We can tell that the ribcage is significantly more narrow than the skeleton surrounding it.
And a few more for you. And at one point, all of these were considered normal too. So just because something is a tradition does not mean it was ever right. In conclusion, I think that's the realization more women are beginning to have. This timeline was never some universal truth. It was only a social expectation created to pressure women into living according to other people's preferences instead of their own needs and happiness. And now more women are rejecting it. Teen birth rates are declining. More women are having children later on in life, or not at all. More women are choosing careers, freedom, education, travel, or entirely different lifestyles altogether. So remember, you cannot control when you will meet the right person. You cannot control when life finally comes together. And there is nothing wrong with that. You are not behind. You do not need to rush. You do not need to settle. And you do not have to have your entire life figured out by 30. Trust yourself, make decisions in your own time, and build a life that will make you happy.